I just want to move on. I don't want to be associated anymore. I don't want this anymore. I just want to move on and continue to be happy with my daughter, and that's all I want. Let's start. Landon and I, we broke up. He was abusive, physically, verbally, emotionally, you name it. Our entire relationship, which he's admitted to.
I want to be truthful, I want to be honest. Definitely more toxic and causing more fights. Sometimes verbally abusive too.
I honestly wanted to get out of that relationship when, you know, right before he got diagnosed with cancer. I wanted to get out of that relationship. I just knew it wasn't good. I stayed because I thought that was, you know, going to be his second chance at life, and he was going to be a new person. And previous to cancer, he was not there for me. He didn't really take care of our child for a long time. He just wasn't the father that I expected him to be, nor the partner. So I was looking at places and I was ready to go. I have a text message from literally the day after our daughter was born. She was born on the 19th. I was still in the hospital and he had left, and he was gone for hours upon hours upon hours. I'm like, where are you? What are you doing? Where are you? You know, and he basically says like, I told you I'm coming back later, you know? And I was like, I had a C-section. I couldn't even get out of bed. I physically needed someone to help me to be able to get to the baby and feed the baby. And that's when I realized like, okay, he's not gonna be that person for me. So he gets diagnosed with cancer. I'm taking care of him independently while caring for a newborn independently. I've been at my breaking point. I was a single mother in a relationship, and I was carrying all the weight around previous to him getting sick. I was doing everything from 100% baby to most of the work, handling all the bills, all the finances, doing all the housework, all the laundry, everything for the dogs. And it was during like the beginning of COVID, so it was a really hard time for me. I'm gonna be honest, I was a bit resentful, and I was starting to really dislike him as a person. During cancer, he was not understanding at all. I don't know if I could expect him to be understanding, but he wasn't understanding. He wasn't nice to me. He continued to be abusive during his cancer treatments. So for context, the hospital wanted him to have some sort of independence. His doctor would say that because he was very lazy before. So his doctor was like, you can't be lazy, you need to like work. So I didn't expect him to go like on a full workout, a hike, but I would lay his pills out for him for the entire week, and I would leave them in the kitchen, and his only job was to walk to the kitchen and get his pills. He would manipulate me. After he would be mean to me and abuse me and hurt me, he would basically say like, oh, it's because I have cancer. And it would work. It would guilt trip me back in, and I would think like, he's going through like things, like it's okay if he like treats you like this, which in reality, it's not okay at all. 100% not okay. Yes, he did have cancer. He was sick. He had a cancer that developed from not treating like pneumonia or something like that. So yes, it was cancer. No, he was not going to die from it. Almost 100% of it was gone after the first chemotherapy. So he was rapidly getting better. Once I realized that cancer wasn't going to really change him, or didn't change him at all, he more so enjoyed the attention that cancer brought him. I was like, okay, I don't like, this is not what I wish I would have left. Like, I don't think this is like the humbling experience. To be honest, I was growing resentful because I waited for you to get better and you were able to like basically live a normal life, and you were still choosing like to not be there for me and not help me with our child. And so this text, I'm like, I don't understand how I do more than you with everything. And when I already have to ask for like little things, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, once you're well, like 100%, I need 50% of a partner. I've been carrying this weight for so long by myself. I was just like, I felt like I'd been more than fair, and I'd let you heal, and I'd been there, but like, I was doing it all by myself. This is before we knew he had cancer. I said, I'm losing my mind. Like, he would only watch her in the morning. If I would wake him up too early, he'd say, no, it's too early. Like, I'm going back to sleep. And I didn't understand how like wrong that was. I didn't understand why I'd have to ask to like shower. It just kind of continued on like that. And I was like, you know what? I need to leave. Like, he's not a good partner to me. He's not being a good father. Like, I need to go. I knew he was not good for me, but I had spent my entire adult life with this man. I'd started a family with him. I wanted to have a family for my daughter. I wanted things I went after. I wanted a family. I never grew up with that, and I wanted that for her so badly. And so I held on for that, and I thought, okay, like he's just maybe going through something. But I knew it was coming to an end when he let me know, like, there was one day in particular, and I was crying and I was really upset, and I said, like, what are we doing? Are we gonna be together? Like, I don't understand. And he was like, well, I want to do whatever, like, the F I want to do. These are his words. I want to do whatever the F I want to do. I want to live like my brother. I want to be like my brother. And at that point, I was like, it's probably not going to work out from here on out. So the very same night, so I was just crying. Like, I felt my heart was broken. I felt like I'd lost everything I'd known. I was losing my family. I was losing, the closest person to me. I felt like he was my best friend. I was really upset that day, and he came over to me. I was sitting on the bed, he was sitting across from me, and he came over and he began hugging me and kissing me and saying, like, I love you, it's gonna be okay, like, it's gonna work out. And I'm like, don't say these things if you don't mean them. Like, I'm broken. He's like, no, I mean them. And just like, and so I was like, maybe, like, he does love me still, And I was like, I was a little hopeful. He had left that day, and that evening, he would stay in Joe's room most of the time, honestly. He'd sleep in there almost daily. That night, I was just on my phone in bed, and I came across his Instagram, and I was like, well, he has no pictures on here. He deleted every picture of him and I, and he posted something on his story along the lines of, like, who wants to go on a date or something. And I had felt like my soul leave my body. That TikTok, and it's like, Popeye's biscuit, like, I felt that, like I felt like my soul leave my body. I cried, but it was so weird. I cried for maybe 30 seconds. And at that point, it had been so many things like that every single day. Him leading me on, then, like, loving me and leaving me on. And that was, like, the final straw. I knew in my heart that was it. It was like something came over me and said, okay, you cried. Boop. And I realized, okay, it's time to get out of this. That's all. You're on your own, like, figure it out. He was not contributing financially in any way. The YouTube was the only thing that he was contributing financially to. I was paying his entire boxing career, the other half of the rent, all of our cars, his McLaren, all of our employees, and funding businesses that we both invested to separately. Our monthly expenses were about $50,000. I was covering all the expenses on my own. The least you can do is contribute to, like, YouTube, because, like, that's the only way you're contributing financially. You should be helping in that way. Earned. Have some texts, like, me following up, like, did you go see Babylonia? Did you go see Babylonia? Did you go see Babylonia? He had never actually gone. Time he's planning to go to Miami still. One day his mother calls me while I'm in the car and says, Soul, she's coming with us to Miami for like 7 days, right? I'm booking the tickets. And the initial agreement months ago, before things got really bad, that Landon and I had was that I would go with Soul, even though we weren't together, because obviously I'm not gonna let my child be all the way out there with her mother. I was, like, hurt. I was trying to do what's best for my daughter, and he wanted her there. I was gonna go to my niece's birthday party with my daughter. I kept her clothes in the guest room, so I went to the guest room where Landon was sleeping, and his phone was on the nightstand. By that time, he had already changed his password. I heard his phone, like, ding, 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 and I was like, and I looked over, and it was his mother. The day after, I'd heard her plotting on taking my child. The intuition was going crazy, and I thought, they never, ever text. They always call, they always FaceTime, like, something is wrong, like, something is wrong. And I couldn't shake that feeling the entire day. It was gone the entire day. When I got back, he had already proved he wasn't loyal to me at that point, so I didn't trust him either. So I went in the car, I locked myself in the car, and I went to the messages with his mother, and Landon's, like, banging on the window, like, you're crazy, what are you doing, what are you doing, what are you doing? And I'm, like, shaking. I'm like, okay, read, like. And I went, and his mother was sending him exact amounts of what was in my account. They had went through my personal information, and she was logged into my personal business banking accounts completely separate from Landon, which is extremely illegal, by the way. They were plotting on how to take my money, and my, like, heart dropped. I'm like, oh my God, they're trying to take, like, my child, my money, like, the rest of the money I've left. Like, I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do? Like, I was like, what is this, Landon? Like, what is this? He was like, she's gonna be like paying you the loan back. That's why she's gonna be the one that's gonna pay the loan. I said, okay. And I called her on the phone, on his phone in the car, and I said, are you gonna be the one paying me the loan back? She said, I'm not paying you a damn thing. I said, okay. So it's exactly what it looks like. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe they were conspiring like so deeply against me. I was shaking. Not that it was relevant because technically we weren't together, but he had messaged every girl in like a 50-mile radius. I'd seen it, and it just added to the fact that he was like, it's not about girls. I'm not talking to girls at all. It's not about that at all for me. I'm just focused on myself. It was like the last thing that I hadn't proved. He lied about every.
You seriously need help.
You need help.
No, I'm
You're
not being
such
funny.
a liar. You're trying to manipulate me.
not.
On the
Help.
messages.
You need help.
I literally have to record this because I don't believe you. I saw your mom
You need help,
going
bro.
through my bank information.
And I was hysterical. I felt so betrayed and like so hurt. I had the gate open because, if you guys remember, I said I was like prepared to like leave if they tried to like break the window. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Joe walk with Soul onto the street, leave the front yard and go onto the sidewalk. Instantly, I was like, no, because, you know, the day before, I'd heard that conversation with his mother. So I'm like, keep my baby in my vision all times. And so I went over and I said, Joe, give me Soul, give me my daughter. And he like motioned and like turned his back to me and kept going. I have a broken foot. I'm like, a broken foot. I'm a little slower. So I'm like, Joe, give me my daughter. And I'm trying like my hardest not to like, you know, panic, but I could feel my like panic levels starting to rise. I'm like, Joe, give me my baby. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Give me my baby. And then I see him, he's turning the corner towards where his car is parked. And then I really started panicking. And in my head, I'm like, he's gonna take my baby. Like, he's gonna take my baby. Like, where is she gonna go? And I hear Landon at the same time, like, yeah, Joe, go. Don't stop, Joe, go. And I'm like, oh my God, like, and I'm like, Joe, bring her back.
Landon, I'm trying to leave. Like, you can call me crazy. You can call me. I'm sure I'm f***ed up right now, dude. I just went through the worst thing in my life. Like, I could not trust you. I want to be able to trust you with our daughter. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm scared you're going to take her and, like, try to keep her there and try to say, like, I'm crazy. Like, I'm terrified of that. Like, I don't want you to take my daughter. Like, she is literally all I have. Like, I can't trust you. Yes, you and your mom is the biggest thing right now. Like, I confirmed. I don't know what you guys are trying to do behind the scenes, and I don't trust it. You betrayed me. Like, I can't even, I'm not ready to even, like, heal from that. Like, I just wish you wouldn't do the shady shit that you do. Like, I want to trust you as her dad.
One of the worst days of my life.
And Landon needs to get his stuff, so I'm going to wait for the police.
What, did she say anything?
She said there's 2 keys.
No, there's not 2 keys.
She said Landon still needs to get his stuff, so they're waiting for the police. So they're trying to play it all over. So
Yeah,
just
I
play
guess,
games.
okay, let me just go out here and talk to them. Can you just record, because I just don't trust them. There was never 2 sets of keys. Landon still legally lives here. He has every right to come get his stuff. He can come get his stuff, that's no problem, but you cannot enter unaccompanied, and he cannot enter unaccompanied. But if Landon wants to go get his stuff, no, he can come get his stuff. I think they just want to make a show out of this. Then it comes out they had called a police escort and they had said like I was violent and crazy and trying to play the whole victim. He had brought all his friends to like help him get his stuff, and I said okay. I just thought it was very like his mother was outside standing with my Range Rover, like smiling, and I was like, you're evil, like you were so evil. And she's like, yeah, like it was a game to them, like how bad could they hurt me? And I remember seeing they took Soul's car seat out of the car and they just left it like in the front yard, like no regard. Like you took everything there and didn't even think about taking Soul.